Hello everyone, welcome back to Code Skwela, and now we are back again at our another status update for our Blazor Point-of-Sale application. And so with this one, it starts to kind of feel like your daily dreaded daily scrum or daily stand up or whatever name you may call it. So if you've been in the software development world wherein you've been working on projects like it's kind of, I don't know, it's a mixed feeling for me every time we do scrum meeting. So eventually sometimes there are times that it ends up like a status meeting wherein the scheduled time would be just like 15 minutes of daily scrum, and then somehow there are times that it goes over that time, and then you end up with like unnecessary discussions. But anyway, I was just ranting with that one. So let's jump ahead into our update. So for this one, we have quite some features or functions that have implemented for this one. So this is again your point of sale application. This is the main point of sale page. And so what I've added now is several functions. So we have now the function to clear, to pay, refund, void, and next. So these buttons, they have uh, individual methods that I've already implemented. Okay. And aside from that, I've also implemented the function of searching an order by order ID, and then as well as searching an order by customer or orders by customer. Okay. So let's just jump into the code. It's not that complicated really. Let's head out to let's open our homepage, which is where our point of sale application is or page is. So for each of these buttons, let's go to the clear button. So the clear button would uh, uh, trigger this clear order function, which in turn just calls the new order. So the new order is already our existing method previously from my updates, wherein it will just create a new order for you. Okay. And yeah, for the pay, so for the pay, let's go to the add payment method, which is the one that is mapped to that button. So with this one, I've used the uh, dialogue component for this one. So before you can use this dialog box, you'll have to inject the dialog service, which is the iDialog service interface. And from there, you can create your own dialog. So with this one, I did not add it as an inline, but as a separate dialog component, which is the number input dialog component, which is located here in the shared folder. So with this one, let's look at the code for that one. This is just a very basic dialog box wherein it receives or accepts a number input. Okay. So what does that look like? So if you click, let's say let's add an item first, and then now we're ready to accept a payment. So all you have to do is just click on the pay, and then the dialog box will open up like this. That lets you enter the amount. Okay, and then click on OK, and then it will accept the payment. As you can see, you have total paid here being added, and then the status of this order will now be set to paid. Okay, and now when you click next, which is the next button here, it will just save that order and move to the next new order. Okay, so let's jump ahead to the next button. So the next button would be uh the let's go to the let's jump to that code first. So the next button would be the next order method. Okay. So now there's a bit of logic here. So with the next order method for that next button is there are several things here. First is we need to validate if there are items added on the order. Otherwise, we'll just notify the user via the snack bar that an order must have at least one item. So how does that look like? So in this case, if you click on next, you'll see that you have this sort of notification on the top right that lets you know that you'll need to have at least one item. So after that, if there is an item, then what happens next is that uh, we need to check if that order is already existing or it's a new order. So if it's a new order, in this case, uh, the order that we search for, does it exist? So we're here, the order by default, when you are newing up or creating a new order, the ID would be 0, which in turn won't return anything. So since it's a 0 1. So from there, it's easy as creating your order entity and then saving it or adding it to the orders and then calling the save and then calling the new order again, that which means it will recreate or create a new order for the next one. Or else if the order already exists, then all you have to do is update the details of that order, including the items, which means that there are several steps here. So first is you need to remove the ones that have been removed from the current order, update that to our data, and then from there, after removing the items that have been removed, we also need to update the existing ones. And then after updating the existing ones, we also need to add the new ones, to new items that have been added to our order. Okay, and so yeah, basically that's just the how the new order button works, right? And then the next one would be refund. So refund also is very basic. Let's find the refund function or method. So the refund method here is allows you to sort of, the process of refunding an item. So is you set the amount that is being refunded and then set the status of that order as a refund. Okay, so basically as simple as that. I'm not quite sure though if in reality that would be the actual process, but I just assume that's how it works in real life. And also as per the template on the Excel, I followed also that same logic here. Okay, and then the void does nothing much really. The void order would be just setting the status of the order into void. Okay, so I guess there's some other logic that I've missed, so I'm not quite familiar with this one, but uh, probably maybe as an exercise on your end that you can extend additional logic for each of these functions, like you are only allowed to void if that order is open, it's not yet paid, something like that. Okay, but yeah, uh, I guess I've covered all the functions of each of these buttons. So what's remaining is this search functions here on the top. So with the search by order ID, all you have to do is enter the order ID. In this case, let's say search for order ID 16. If you hit enter on your keyboard, if that order is present, then it will load that up. All right, simple as that. So how does that method look like? So it's this one. So find order by ID. This is mapped to our order ID search box. Okay, it's this one. So we've hooked up to the value changed event, and then from there we'll pass in the string. So the text field is mapped to a string, so we'll have to receive our ID as a string instead of the integer. So but with that end, in that situation, uh, we'll have to parse it as an integer, okay, for us to continue with the rest of querying that order. Okay, and from there we'll just spawn up our order model, in this case filling up the necessary fields for our from coming up from our order entity. Okay, and so that's for the search for order ID. Again, if you do or find something that is not present in the orders, it will notify you that the order is not found. Okay, simple. All right. So the last one would be the search by customer. So if you have, let's say, choose one of the customers here. So this one is implemented as a autocomplete. So if we select like Fred Fredders, a dialog box will show that list all of the orders for that customers or customer. And then all you have to do is check or select or click one of the checkboxes here, either this one. So you can only select one to load up the order details for that order. Okay. So in this case, let's say we are choosing this 10. So I know this kind of interface is not quite ideal. If you're doing an actual pause, probably you'll navigate this table via the arrow buttons and then just hit on enter to load that up. But in this case, I've simplified this one because that kind of UI is kind of complicated to implement. It's not impossible, but it would take me longer to actually do that one. Since, yeah, uh, we're not, I have a very limited time. So once you select a order, then you just click on the load and then it will load up that order. Okay. So just like that. So let's say choose another one. I don't know if there are other examples. Okay, like this one, click load, and then it will load up all of that details for that order. Okay, so yeah, I think I've covered much of it. So by the way, just a quick peek on that search by customer list. So again, I've implemented it as a dialog box component. Here it's named select orders by customer dialog. Okay, and if select on this one, as you can see, the orders listed there are just coming off from our method here. So when you find the orders by customer, it will gather up or query all of the orders for that customer, right? So in right about here. So if there are no orders found for that customer, then it will just show a alert or snack bar in this case that will tell you that no orders are found. If there is, then you'll just continue with the rest of the logic of gathering up the orders and then passing it to our dialog here. So the data for the orders is passed as in this format. You pass in the parameters since our dialog box accepts several parameters, two of which are the main important ones, which is this customer name and order. So whatever customer is being selected, what you will see is the name of that customer on the top here and then the orders below. Okay, so yeah, so I guess that covers most of what I want to discuss today. uh this project is already dragging on for quite some time already, and I'm hoping to finally complete the rest of it. For the next update specifically, I'll be implementing the print function. So for the print function, I'll be using the Quest PDF library that allows us to generate PDF files as a sort of way for us to print the receipt for this order. Okay, so if you're curious, have a separate video about that one, or an episode wherein I've talked about how you can use Quest PDF for your applications, or specifically on Blazor. Just search Quest PDF on one of on my videos under my videos page. You should be able to get a uh, get a chance to see that video. Okay, so I guess that wraps up what I want to discuss for the status update. And yeah, I forgot. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And I hope to see you soon. And yeah, have a great, wonderful day, everyone. Bye.